Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And welcome to today's episode of
Dude, what are you smoking?
With Ben.
What are you smoking with, Ben? Right. It's a whole new thing.
It's a whole new thing. All right. So,
before we tell you exactly what today's selection is, I don't know when we're going to air this video, but when we air this video is when we put the cigars on the shelf, because these cigars arrived at the lounge on like July 25th-ish. So we didn't want to flood the humidor with tons and tons of new cigars. We're kind of slow rolling some of this stuff out, but yeah. So video airs, cigars available on the lounge. That's simple. That being said,
so come get your cigar now. No,
well, yeah. It is so strange that we got the cigars in just a couple days ago, and in that couple of days, we've had like 4 people who have strolled into our humidor and said, "Hey, do you happen to have this cigar?" And we're like,
maybe.
Yeah, why do you ask? So this is a cigar that's gotten a lot of hype lately, over the past several years. And we are very happy to be bringing this line in, a brand new line in. Yeah, it's going to be cool. So Ben, dude, what are you smoking?
I don't know the name of the size. What's the size?
This is the Brujos.
The Brujos. So this is the Atabey Brujos. So Atabey is it's out of a company called Selected Tobacco, blended by Nelson Alfonso, who also does artwork for the Cuban Cohiba Bahique. And if you look at this band, there's definitely some of that influence on there with the dots and the little, Atabey sign. The Atabey, you want me to tell a little story about it?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Please. So the Atabey, the story that I heard repeated over and over is that the Taino Indians would sit in a prayer circle that was called the Cohiba. And they would smoke their tobacco, and they'd blow the smoke up to the prayer shaman, or whatever you want to call it, who was the Bahique. And the Bahique would take the smoke and offer it up to their goddess Atabey. And so that's the whole story behind Atabey cigars. So the figure on the Atabey cigar, I believe, is supposed to be kind of a depiction of the goddess Atabey. So that's kind of how the Cohiba Bahique Atabey thing kind of all intertwines. So it's an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, then everything else is undisclosed. And even in some websites, it doesn't even say what the wrapper is. It says undisclosed to the wrapper, but the other ones say Ecuadorian Connecticut. So it's
a very hush blend of tobacco.
All right. So for me, this cigar has come across as very nutty, creamy, a touch of spice, very easy, great draw. So it seems to be doing extremely well right now.
I would agree. There's definitely that touch of spice in there. That creaminess is in there. And Greg Montgomery is in here. Yeah, come on through, Greg. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good to see you, sir.
Oh no, you're all right.
I want to talk a little bit about construction on this cigar. So the first thing that I did when I took the cigar out of the cello is I took a look at the wrapper leaf, velvety, smooth wrapper leaf on here.
And while Brian talks,
took a look at the foot of the cigar where I could see the tobacco, and I found it really interesting because there was like this 1/16 of an inch of tobacco that you could see inside that 16 inch. On the outside there was another 1/16 of an inch of tobacco
Perfectly.
that you could see.
Yeah, perfectly
then,
around.
And then in the core of the cigar, this combination of dark and light kind of blended together, where you could see that they'd rolled it before putting the binder leaf on. So, I mean, it was beautiful to
Yeah.
look at, and typically you don't see that much definition in the actual blending of the cigar.
Yeah, it almost looked like it was like multiple binders.
Yeah.
Because when you put a binder around the cigar, it's just like the wrapper. It's going to create a perfect circle around it. Well, and then the fillers are kind of bunched in there, whether they be accordion or entubado or whatever, but they're just kind of in there. But this was like perfect circles, thick circles, two thick circles around before you got to that kind of jumbled filler in the middle. So it's a different looking thing. It's not double binder or anything like that, but it looks that way.
I mean,
that we know
for
of.
all we know, it
Yeah.
could be. And not having ever seen that on a cigar before, it does lend me to the thought process that it may have a double binder, it may have a double binder, double wrapper. I don't know.
It'll certainly help
It
with
was-
the construction
it was
on the cigar.
Definitive.
Yeah, it'll help with the construction of the cigar, especially if the binders, the lower primings, to help
Yeah.
it burn, because this is burning.
Excellent.
Yeah, perfect. The draw's perfect.
Yeah,
Dry
excellent.
draw. We all dry drawed it before we started the video to kind of see what we got. I got a little cherry and a little light cinnamon. Brian, what did you get?
Yeah, so I read a few different reviews on the cigar before I lit it up, just to kind of get a little bit more familiar with it. And one of the reviews said that the dry draw tasted to them like one of those blueberry muffins that you get in the cello pack that you would have eaten like a snack when you were a little kid. And I can see that. You know, there's a light fruitiness that was there. Ben got it as cherry. I can kind of see that also. Blueberry works. There's almost this cinnamoniness, this baking spiciness that comes through.
Did you get the breadiness from that as well?
I do.
Okay.
I do a little bit. But that might be just because I read the review. You don't get as much of that out of the smoke. Again, it's very creamy, very, very smooth. It's not a mild cigar. It's probably closer towards medium. The reviews that I've read says it's going to ramp up as you smoke it. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's pretty delicious.
Yeah, I got kind of a sweet creaminess. The creaminess is like big time in a cigar. I mean, it's creamy smoke. Imagine taking a drink of milk versus taking a drink of water. That's how the difference in the smoke is. It's very creamy on the tongue, and it stays on your tongue. I mean, after you blow the smoke out, there's like a presence of the smoke on your tongue, or a flavor on your tongue, even though you've blown the smoke out and everything. I also got kind of an almondy kind of flavor, which is the nuttiness. So to be more specific with it, that's the nuttiness that comes to mind when I smoke it. The sweet's there for a long time. It's very sweet and creamy. I didn't really retrohale it all too much yet. I've just been enjoying the flavors. So, Gonzo, what'd you get on the dry draw?
With the dry draw?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a little bit of mintiness from the dry draw. That was my first flavor that I got. So, besides dry draw, I just went and helped, Mr.
Yeah.
Montgomery, and I came back. What I liked is that the aftertaste of this cigar, the after effects, I think Ben was nailing it as I was coming back. It was still creamy and nutty. It didn't give me that ashtray feel in my mouth because it took a little bit before I got back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the aftertaste was still very yummy, and I could still taste the cigar afterwards. So has a very, very long finish. So I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Yeah, that's not common for a shade cigar. I mean, typically, even unless you're talking about something with double Haro in it, yeah, and San Andreas in the middle. That one's got a long finish, but yeah, I did the dry draw, or not the dry draw, the retro hell just now, and it's ramps up the nuttiness major, and the creaminess and the sweetness all ramps way up. It even added a little spice in the back of my throat when I did it. So that was kind of interesting, but it also made the finish last even longer, and the sweetness kind of feels like it's all over your mouth, like on my teeth and stuff. So the sweetness of the cigar, it's not infused or flavored, it's just tobacco's natural sweetness in there. So cigars are made out of Costa Rica, so out of a factory in Costa Rica. So do that in there too, I forgot about that part.
Oh yeah. All in all, I'm enjoying my cigar. Very nice, very easy.
Very clean. You know, the flavors in here are mellow and clean. I think this is one that I want to just continue to hot box. I want to continue to smoke it and to continue to enjoy the flavors. But that long finish, you don't have to. So I'm kind of making a controlled decision to slow down the experience on this cigar.
I mean, there's not a lot of pepper. It doesn't have a lot of power behind it. I don't think this has a really high nicotine content at all. But it's a very easy, mellow. I don't know. It's just.
It's an experience. It's an experience.
It's making me focus and try to relax with this cigar. So if you're looking to relax, this is the cigar for you. If you're looking for a party cigar, like you're just gonna be out with your friends, drinking and smoking, I wouldn't recommend the cigar.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain cigars that are for cutting the grass and for doing things and stuff like that. Then there's other cigars, like, to name another cigar, but the Passion. I mean, that cigar, the flavors are there, but they don't punch you in the face. They're there. But you sit down and you're talking to a buddy and you're smoking that cigar, before you realize it, you'll be down to the band and you won't really have tasted that much. But if you sit there and think about that cigar while you're smoking it, and the flavors are more pronounced in the Atabey than that, but I mean, it's that kind of experience. You really want to sit down and experience a cigar because there's layers of flavors, there's complexity there. The dry or the retro hell adds to it, and the long finish is not common. I do get a little bit of spice just on the regular draw now that I'm down to here in the back of my throat. So the spice has kind of come up a little bit.
Things that I'm noticing on the cigar, I'm getting some dark oiliness right at the burn line. That looks really nice. I don't know if you guys are getting that, but you can see the shine and sheen on it.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
You see, it almost looks wet right
Yeah,
there
it almost
around my
looks
cigar
wet.
by the burn line. What sizes is this going to be in?
So
There's 4 sizes.
4 sizes that have come in. Essentially, there's a Lancero, a Churchill, a Toro, and a Robusto. The 4 sizes are not named Lancero, Churchill, Toro,
So
Robusto.
we're having the Brujo, right?
Yes, this is the Brujos. There's an
Brujos.
S at the end.
Oh, Brujos. So Brujos in Spanish is witches in the male form, not Brujas, which is witches in the female form. So most of them have all those types of
Spiritus.
spiritus names.
Spiritus
that
is a
type of thing.
Lancero, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the other 2 names right offhand.
I don't either.
There's a Hechizos, which I don't know what size that is. There's a Divinos.
The Vinos, yeah.
I don't remember the other one. Yeah. And you also have the Bandoleros.
So the Bandolero is the other cigar that we brought in from Nelson Alfonso's. And we have not smoked that one yet, but that video will be coming shortly.
Yeah. It sure will.
Yeah, the Bandoleros is more medium plus in flavor profile. It's not as delicate as this one. I've had a few Bandoleros. So I don't remember what sizes I've had. They have different ones in the line, but it's not a shade cigar. It's more ramped up. I don't know the blend on it off the top of my head, but
Well, we'll
it's
do a
very
video
good.
on that.
Yeah.
So that'll be a separate thing.
I got a little cone on my cigar because, like Brian said, I'm smoking it too fast because it's good. Yeah, I'm not going a little too fast.
Yeah,
I
this-
just slow down.
And we'll touch on price point for you. This is not your common price point on a cigar. You know, most of the cigars in the humidor are nowadays with inflation in that $10, $11 range, maybe $12 range. This is not. So you might experience a little sticker shock when you're in the humidor and you're looking at these. Don't let that deter you from at least picking up one and giving it a try. Make sure, like we've said, this is a cigar that demands your attention. It demands your time. You want to smoke this when you have the ability to really enjoy it, because it's worth that.
It's considered in the industry an ultra premium, like a Padron Anniversario or a Opus X. It's considered on that level of cigar. So that's, you know, they're aged for years and years in humidors that are lined with different kinds of cedar, not just Spanish cedar. And then they pull the cigars out every once in a while and they shave the cedar down so the cedar can bleed more, and then put the cigars back in and age them some more. It's a whole process.
That's
the
a
process
good
is huge.
point. When we were sitting with the company and we were discussing these, they have an incredible process for aging the tobaccos. So when it reaches a certain point, like Ben said, they shave the cedar down in the aging room. They sand it down. They get it fresh again. They move that tobacco out before they do it and clean the whole space, and then they put a new batch of tobacco in that space. So each year, I'm guessing, of age on the leaf is in a different room, which is clean and fresh. So
clean
the
it so
tobacco,
fresh.
the tobacco that's say 3 years old is grown in a different, or is aged in a different room than the tobacco that's 2 years old. So the tobaccos don't mix in that aging process. It's very interesting. I've never heard of anyone that takes it to that level before. And
Even when
the
they put them
results.
even when they put them in the box, if you buy one of these cigars, you'll notice that the end of the cellophane is cut off.
Yeah.
So you just slide the cellophane off. It's not rolled underneath with a barcode or anything like that. And that's so the cigar can pick up the cedar inside the box and stay well humidified, because the boxes themselves are humidors. So you could actually buy the box and then use the box as the humidor when you're done with it.
it's a very pretty presentation.
Beautiful box.
It is a stunning presentation in the box, in the cellophane, the cigar itself. You know, whether you're looking at that wrapper leaf or you're looking at the end of the cigar where you can see the different tobaccos and how they've been rolled together. Nothing about this is done without purpose. It's gorgeous.
Have you guys retro held it? I mean,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the retro hill versus the regular flavor?
I've done several retro hills already. At the very beginning, it was very, very nutty, and it almost increased the sweetness of that nuttiness. This last time that I retro held it almost gave me a slight floral feel. And I think that's just the sweetness ramped up just a bit more.
Yeah, I think for me, the creaminess intensifies greatly on the retro. There is still that hint, that mild hint of a pepper, but it's not a peppery cigar.
Yeah. Ryan's rocking the ash right now. You got,
It's,
you got the ash
I
going.
just keep looking at that burn line.
Yeah, the burn
and it's
line's perfect.
perfect. You know, it's just a
I mean,
beautiful burning cigar.
Even when I tap the ash off, you know, sometimes you tap the ash off, then you got one part that isn't burning, and you might have
Yeah.
to touch that up or something. It's just, it all catches right back up, and the burn line starts again. So, and you get that on the higher prime, you know, the higher end cigars. Padron is known for that. I mean, you light a Padron, and I don't know if I've ever had to touch up a Padron before. So, yeah, it's awesome cigar.
I will say that it is actually getting better the more I smoke this cigar.
It's ramped up in flavor. I mean, the flavors
Yeah.
are intensified. It's a solid medium flavor-wise, and I still don't feel anything. Like, I still think it's mild, maybe mild plus in strength. It's not, but the flavors are for a shade cigar. If you
Yeah.
compare it to other shade cigars, I mean, the flavors are way more intense than other shade cigars I've had.
Okay, so that this video doesn't end up being 20 minutes long, I think we
Or
should.
35 minutes long like we did our last
I
video.
think we should probably end. Thumbs
we-
up for me. This is a
we
great
smoked a
cigar.
full third,
Yeah.
a complete full third, at least, on camera. So, yeah, it may not, you may not think that it was worth purchasing the cigar at the inception when you first light it, but within that quarter of an inch, you're like, oh my God, is when the flavors start coming in. It's just an amazing stick. It's getting better. Yeah. Do I think that this cigar is worth the $35 that I'm going to pay for the cigar? Yes. I have to have the time to do that. If you don't have the time, don't spend $35 on the cigar. Have the time to respect the cigar, especially when you're paying $35 for it.
Big vanilla note now, sorry.
What would you drink with this?
The flavors are there, stronger than your typical Connecticut, but I think you'd have to be something very smooth to go along with it. I don't think it could be anything harsh. Something like a bourbon that is really, really, really smooth and not overpowering in some kind of dark flavor. A cream soda, if you're drinking soda, I think it would go incredibly well with it. I just got a big vanilla. I kind of taste like cream soda right now because of the vanilla that just hit with the creaminess and everything. So I think a cream soda would go great. Nothing dark, and I mean, it would easily overpower even with a medium profile of flavor. I think it would easily be overpowered by a stronger drink.
I think a nice smooth tequila, a vanilla rum, you know, like Ben said, a cream soda, perhaps a ginger ale.
My coffee,
Coffee is great.
Sweet coffee.
With it.
preferably with maybe some cream in it, a hint of sweetness in your coffee. That's kind of what I have now. It's not as sweet as I normally drink, and it's pairing perfectly.
So just one quick story. One quick story. I don't make the video too long. I asked these guys when they went to Vegas, just get an Atabey and just try it. It's expensive. I don't expect you to bring the cigars in. Just try an Atabey. Just try one because it's a great cigar. And if you can get one, especially a free sample, because they're $35, try one. And then they came back and they actually brought the line in because of me liking the cigars. So thank you to you guys for doing that, because that's putting a lot of trust in me and my likes on this cigar. So
Well,
I just want to say that because that's pretty awesome. So thank you guys.
Well, it speaks to our confidence in Ben.
Yes.
You know, we are eternally grateful to have Ben here in the lounge helping us out. And when he spoke highly of this cigar, and we saw that they had the booth there at the trade show, we were looking for new things that we could bring in, and this definitely has a place in the humidor.
Yes.
So we bought it blind. You know, we bought it without having that sample, without having anything to go on other than the name and what we've read a little bit on the internet and Ben's recommendation. And he's never steered us wrong. He's never steered any of our customers wrong.
We were literally
We're very happy.
leaving the building to go to the airport, and then I can hear Ben in the background chanting, "Atabey, Atabey, Atabey." Yeah. So
What did you just smoke one? Just smoke one.
So-
It's an awesome cigar. So thank
Yeah.
you guys. That's very nice. I appreciate it.
well, one, we love you. Two, we trust your palate.
Thank you. Love you guys too. Love Fest.
Yay, brothers of the leaf and sisters of the leaf. All right,
All right. So on that note,
stay safe.
Stay sane.
stay healthy.
Salud.
Salud.